And welcome to the latest and greatest from Step Brother Sports, part of the Hockey Podcast Network and the Bills Mafia Buffalo fan base platform. We are brought to you by Rich Brow Brewing, located at 5 South 20th Street, Richmond's premier Buffalo Bills backers bar. Don't forget to subscribe to our socials on all our platforms at CFMAZ for me, or for Shawnee V, SV The Don NHL, or on YouTube at Step Brother Sports. Don't forget to always like the video, rate, review, subscribe, all those other great things you can do for us. And folks, since we last spoke, USA men's and women's hockey won gold. The Sabres continue their warpath. NHL trade deadline is this Friday. The team has reportedly made a big swing by trading for Colton Parenko. Maybe more on that later. NFL free agency next week already. But super excited to bring on today's guest, as you folks can see here. When it was shared with me by a friend that he is from my neck of the woods, I felt like we just had to find a way to make this happen. He is a current defenseman for the Rochester Americans and Buffalo Sabres. He is fresh off his AHL All-Star appearance, and we're really excited to get his perspective on what it means to be a professional athlete in today's day and age. Please welcome Zac Jones.
Thanks for having me, Chris. I appreciate it.
Yeah, again, Zac, really appreciate you making the time for this and hopping on with us this evening. Like I told you right off camera a moment ago, I know the Amerks are gearing up for another big divisional tilt against the Level Rocket tomorrow. Not to mention what you have to do to obviously prepare for the game. But what I want to do to start right here is talk about really your hockey origins. For those who don't know, for me, obviously, I grew up in Buffalo. I now live in Richmond, Virginia since 2012. You, Zac, are a Richmond native, and so we've ultimately swapped places more or less. There are a few folks, actually, funny enough, I've gotten to know in Richmond that you know quite well, actually. One being your uncle, who many refer to as Red. Shout out to Red and all the good folks of Goochland and Sports Page Bar and Grill. I'll die on the hill that they have the best wings in the city of Richmond or in that area. The other, like we just talked about a moment ago, being one of your former coaches from way back in the day, and my current coworker, Greg Simone. So again, the world is too small. Before I kind of give you a moment to chime off on here, Zac, Greg wanted me to share this just because I figured folks would get a kick out of this, because he would always say about you that as soon as you would get home from practice, because you obviously were on the same team as his son, when it was dark, you would go out, shoot pucks against his garage with one of those fake ice mats, eat dinner super late, go watch more hockey. And he said you would just eat, sleep, and breathe hockey. And then also, he wanted you to elaborate on, he wanted to say, quote unquote, what Lil Rink was to the listeners. Said there was a fun story behind that. So, yeah. Tell us a little bit about growing up in Richmond, your hockey path through there, through juniors, getting drafted, going to UMass, and being where you are today, with all of that kind of wrapped up in a bow.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Richmond. I played there until I was about 14. My dad was an equipment manager for the Richmond Renegades back in the day when they were a team, and so I kind of always just grew up around hockey. I was lucky enough that we had a few dads, Greg Simone, my dad, a couple other dads that just decided, hey, let's see if we can get our kids into hockey and see what happens. And we had some good teams growing up, stuff like that. I played there till I was about 14 years old. We had kids on our team from all over Virginia, really, and a couple of kids from Pennsylvania and North Carolina. So it was more of an all-star team, I guess, per se, in a sense of the best players in that area. So we had that team. I played there till I was 14, and then everybody kind of just decided, it's time to go our own separate ways. So went to South Kent, actually, before that. I went to South Kent when I was, 14, was there till I was 17, played there for 3 years, was fortunate enough to get drafted my third year in the USHL to the Tri-City Storm, and I had a great experience there, met some amazing people, some great coaches, and I was there for a year, and the year before I got to Tri-City, I was fortunate enough to commit to UMass with Greg Carvel and his staff, Jared DeMichael and Benny Barr. So after my first year at Tri-City, they decided to bring me in, and I had a great experience at UMass. Obviously, with the COVID incident happening, we got shut down my freshman year, about a year or halfway through the year. So I didn't really get to experience the full, I guess, college experience.
I can't even imagine what that would have been like at that time.
Yeah, it was weird. It was, we were playing, we were preparing for playoffs, and then all of a sudden we started seeing other leagues getting shut down and stuff. And next thing you know, we're all home. were home for about, I don't know, 6 months or so before we had any word on what next year was going to bring. And luckily enough, we got to play my sophomore season with no fans in the stands for the entire year. We didn't have any family could come, nobody. So that was different for sure. But it was cool with our team. We became really close, and it was basically the hockey guys hanging out with the hockey guys when we could. And I was fortunate enough to win a national championship there, and that was one of the highlights of my hockey career. I won't be able to describe the feeling to you personally, but it was something that was it's everything you dream of, honestly. And so I guess going back a little bit, after my year in Tri-City, I was lucky enough to get drafted in the third round by the New York Rangers. And so after my sophomore year at UMass, I decided to sign with the Rangers, got to play 10 games when I was there. And then my next 2 years, I was in Hartford. And the past 2 seasons, I was up with the Rangers full time, just, being more of the seventh defenseman for them.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And again, obviously, congrats being drafted when you were. Being a third round pick is absolutely an awesome achievement in and of itself. And not to mention just being where you're currently at as a professional hockey player. Kind of go into a little bit more about your time in Richmond, of course. You mentioned the Richmond Renegades, and I can tell you this: there are many in this area that would be pining to have a minor league hockey team of any kind back in the area. And man, I mean, I would have season tickets yesterday. I know so many other people would. What was it like having that around in the city as well? And also, what part of the city or what area did you grow up in, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, so I grew up in Glen Allen and Henrico for the most part, right around the Short Pump Mall.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
I was there I've been in a few houses, but basically in that area. My family has a house now in Montpelier, so
okay, yeah, Hanover County.
Go back, I go there. But having the Renegades there was awesome. I mean, I can't say I remember all of it because I was so young when they were there and stuff. But from the times I remember, I mean, it was so cool to have a hockey team in Richmond. I mean, obviously, there's not a ton of hockey in Virginia as a whole, but having the Capitals obviously has been huge for growing hockey in Richmond. But having the Renegades there was awesome. I remember going to a few games when I was really young. I mean, Christ, I think they were I was probably 8 when they folded or something right around there. But for the time I remember, it was awesome. I mean, having a pro hockey team in Richmond. I mean, I know my dad was him and I would go to games with some friends, obviously, and it was awesome. I mean, I would love for there to be a pro hockey team back in Richmond. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned growing the game. One more point just about Richmond as well. For anybody that is part of like the development program, I know the Generals is a big youth development program, and I think you are part of that as well. What message would you have to folks that are on those teams to say, who are pursuing aspirations like yours to maybe eventually play in college, maybe hoping to go pro? What type of message would you have for them?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how much hockey has grown, and obviously you got to work extremely hard, but you can make it from anywhere now. I mean, there's guys, I mean, growing up, I remember it always being Michigan, Minnesota, the New England area. That was the staple of hockey in a sense. And now, I mean, you see guys from all over the country, all over the world that are playing professional hockey, playing college hockey. So it's really it's all about your mindset and your work ethic, but honestly, you can make it from anywhere.
Yeah, love to hear that. So, folks, especially some of the youngins out on the Richmond Generals, hey, you can make it happen, folks. But one last thing, again, about Greg Simone, your old coach. Tell us a little bit more about Lil Rink. I know he'd love to hear your thoughts on that and just giving a fun little story.
Yeah, honestly, I think that I can credit the Lil Rink for being, where I am today. I mean, Greg Simone, my dad, I want to say it was about 8 other dads. We had 2 rinks in Richmond at the time, and it was pretty tough to get ice in a sense. I mean, there wasn't a huge market for hockey back in the day. I mean, so they decided let's build our own rink in a sense, and we had it around for I think it was probably 3 or 4 years, and I mean it wasn't a full size rink, but it was about 3/4 the size of a full size rink. But we would, I mean, Christ, I went there probably every day after school with the couple guys that did play hockey in Richmond, and it was it was awesome. I mean, we got to skate whenever we wanted, and we had little 3-on-3 tournaments with teams from all around kind of Richmond and Virginia in a sense, and it was, some of the most fun I've had playing hockey.
Love that. Hey, homegrown in every sense of the word.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But again, thanks for sharing just about your origins for that too.
Yeah.
But then what's also pretty awesome is knowing that, like I was saying, it still lives and breathes in Richmond. But what I want to do now is kind of go into like what your daily life is as a professional hockey player. Again, ultimately, like us regular folks here, we don't know what it's like to do what you do on a daily basis. So how regimented is like your training routine? Do you have a very strict diet? I mean, are there any fun, like little odd superstitions you have when you're training or practicing with either the Sabres or the Amerks? Feel free to elaborate on that a bit.
Yeah. If I'm being honest, I think people have the conception that, we're working 24/7, and in a sense we are. I mean, our body is we have to take care of it. We have to be ready to go especially with the way hockey is, guys get hurt all the time and stuff happens. So you got to be able to be ready to get called up or sent down, whenever it is. So for me, basically, I wouldn't say I have a strict diet at all. I try to eat as well as I can, but for me, wake up, go to the rink at about, 8:45, 9 o'clock. I'm there for, depends. It honestly depends on the day. Could be 2 hours, could be 4 or 5 hours. It just all depends on how, things are going with practice, meetings. Obviously with the AHL schedule, we don't play nearly as many games in as short amount of time as the NHL does. So we have more time for practicing, working out, and, just it's a developmental league for a reason. So it's nice to, kind of hone your crafts in a sense. You can stay on the ice really as long as you want. We have an awesome shooting room down here. We got a great support staff as far as our strength coaches, our athletic trainers. So it's it makes our lives really easy in a sense. But I pretty much every day up until a game day or day before, we have workout, skate, and you can get whatever treatment you want, however your body's feeling, or you can just go practice, and that's it. It all kind of depends on how your body's feeling. And I think that's a big thing with pro hockey is everybody has their own routines in a sense. I feel like college and juniors was a little more schedule oriented, and you're trying to prepare guys for the next level. But obviously being in pro hockey, it's kind of, it's as far as you can go in a sense. So it's it's at this point, it's about being a good pro and taking care of your body, knowing what your body needs as far as how much you want to skate, how much sleep you need, and stuff like that.
Of course. Maybe just a little bit more specifics on this. Like, so you talked about more an in-season one. Now, what would say more like an off-season program look like for you? Because that's more independent per se. So what would that look like for you?
Yeah, it's 5 days a week for the most part. Every once in a while you'll have a 6th day where you just skate, but for me, it's 5 days a week working out. Probably at the start of the summer, 2, maybe 3 times a week skating, and then probably depending on obviously how long our season goes, it all depends on skating wise. We play so much hockey and we skate so much during the season that you need a break once the season's over. But working out, we do it 5 days a week. Like you said, it's pretty on your own type thing. But I have a great group up in Michigan that I work out with, I skate with. So we work out 5 times a week. We skate 2 to 3 times at the most at the start of the summer, depending on how long our seasons go. And then towards the end of the summer, ramp that up to maybe 4, sometimes 5 times a week, just depending on, what you're trying to get prepared for in training camp.
Of course. So yeah, thanks for kind of giving a little bit of perspective on that. Cause again, like we see so many of the games being played on TV, and obviously getting a little peek behind the scenes is always interesting to your average everyday Joe per se. So thanks for kind of going in on that. So,
yeah.
But let's kind of get into your squad with the Amerks this year. You guys are continuing to make some noise in the North Division. You guys are hot on the power play, one of the best in the AHL, and often led by you, of course, too, which is outstanding. So tell us what it's been like for you being in Rochester this year, and obviously getting the opportunity to go back and forth to Buffalo when they give you the call-ups, of course, and playing alongside your teammates, and again, specifically focusing on your boys in Rochester. So Isak Roseanne, Devin Levi, Ryan Johnson, maybe the rest of the gang too. So tell us what that's been like as you've transitioned from being part of the Rangers organization now to the Sabres.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, I have nothing but good things to say about my time in Buffalo and my time in Rochester. I mean, obviously, having been fortunate to play a game up in Buffalo. I mean, they're doing unbelievably well right now. It's crazy to see, but it's been great being in Rochester and being able to play. And I feel like the last couple of years with New York wasn't necessarily playing as much as I would have liked. So it's been nice just to kind of be in a consistent groove of playing and being in the lineup all the time. And, we have a great team down here. We got a ton of guys that one day will be full-time NHLers. I mean, Isak Roseanne, I'm surprised he isn't already. Constantinius, another guy that I think is, he's only 19 years old, but he's going to be a star one day. I mean, he's got all the tools to be a full-time NHLer and an impact player at the NHL level. I mean, Devin Levi, I think, has been the best story for us this year. I mean, as far as he's played however many games, it feels like every game he's played, but
workhorse. Yes.
Yeah. Workhorse. Exactly. And he's kept us in so many games where, you're not going to have your best every night, but Devin's he's so committed to his routine and he is so locked in that, he every day we know what we're getting out of him. And he's one of the best goalies in the AHL. He's been awesome. I mean, the rest of our forwards, we have an unbelievable group of guys that, can play up and down the lineup. We have great role guys and we got guys that can produce offense. I think our D-core is one of the best in the league. I mean, as far as, obviously there's guys that aren't going to be playing every night, but we can rely on every single guy, no matter who's in, to make an impact and be good for us. So, I mean, it's been fun to be down here and it's been fun to be around the guys. I mean, we have a great group off the ice. It feels like, college in a sense. I mean, we're a pretty young team and, I'm not old by any means, but for some reason I'm one of the older guys, which is crazy to say, but we've got a great group down here.
Yeah, I love hearing that too, especially, again, it's funny. So when you were with the Rangers organization, and obviously you played for Hartford as well in the AHL, but with your time being spent mostly with them as a depth defenseman last year, you ultimately didn't really have to change your license plates to your car or your actual driver license in general. That's probably got to be a nice convenient thing, especially to somebody who's ultimately switched entire franchises this past season. But
yeah, no, it's been nice.
With that also, again, have you really embraced the Western New York culture at this point? Obviously, it could be both between Buffalo and Rochester. I mean, are you getting a bite to eat anywhere in particular that you want to give a shout out to in either spot? Any favorite wing spots, garbage plates that you've indulged at this point? Obviously, I know you want to take care of your body, but hey, every once in a while you can indulge. But at the same time, you doing anything in particular for fun? So, like, feel free to give us a little bit of a rabbit hole down there too. And also, chat, feel free to chime in as well.
Yeah, I mean, personally, haven't had a garbage plate yet. That's something that I probably should have at some point while I'm here. I've heard great things about it. But like you said at the start, I can't really go away from my sports page wings.
There you go. Yeah,
I really can't. So I've tried different wings here. They just don't hit the same for me, if I'm being honest.
Hey, true to the hometown roots. You got to respect that, man.
Exactly.
Hey, can't go wrong with that. So again, shout out to those good people over at Sports Page here in Goochland and all of their establishments in the area too. So I know they got a few. So, but yeah, I love hearing that too. But on the side, of course, like when you're obviously not practicing and training, of course, what are some things that you do to pass the time? Just as far as like, again, what goes on in like the free time again of a professional athlete? Again, people just don't know this perspective, and I always think it's fascinating. Like these guys are human beings too, and like it's always cool to just see how they tick.
Yeah, no, I mean it's I don't do a whole lot if I'm being completely honest. I have 2 dogs. I got a fiance. We take our dogs for walks. We take them to the dog park. This is the first time I've really kind of experienced snow like this. If I'm being honest, I've been in New York City for the last 2 years, and even in Hartford, there really wasn't a ton of snow per se. I mean, it's been absolutely unbelievable how much snow we've gotten this year. I've never experienced something like this. It's been something you see the news, you see Buffalo getting all the snow, especially when I was in New York and stuff, and experiencing it firsthand has been mind blowing. But it's been nice. Like I said, we don't do a whole lot here. We go out to dinner. I mean, there's a couple places in Rochester that Good Luck. Let me think. Other place we gone to. Oh, Next Door by Wegmans. There's been a few couple places here and there, but for the most part, my fiance and I, we like to just hang out, take our dogs for walks. The Midtown gym here has been great. I mean, they have an awesome sauna, hot tub area. So it's more of, I wouldn't say I go there necessarily to work out like my fiance does, but I go there, I sit in the sauna, hang out. But yeah, if I'm being honest, I don't do a whole lot. I would watch TV. Obviously, once the weather starts to get nicer, I'll probably be out in the golf course a little bit more and trying to hone my craft and get a little better at that game. That's for sure. But yeah, I don't do a whole lot.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. A simple homebody life. I've come accustomed to that now, being in my 30s and being basically a suburban dad at this point in time. But still, hey, much respect to that too. So a couple comments chiming in. So Nick Tahoe's in the 585. I'm sure you've heard that name plenty of times already since you've been in Rochester there, Zach. But friend of the show, Michael Phillips. He's mentioned how Richmond, I'm sure you probably heard from family at this point, they had some crazy ice in this area this past year. So basically, compared to what Western New York has as far as snowplows go, Richmond is very much not prepared with the infrastructure on that. And it was just...
They've never been prepared for it. I mean, it was the best growing up. We'd always get snow days left and right.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, as like I said, when I told you off camera, I'm a teacher. I got to also take advantage of that at this point in time, so it was great. So, and also a couple, Shawnee V, co-host again, chiming in where he can. Eat, sleep, puck. Wouldn't want it any other way. So yeah, we appreciate you putting all the hard work into, Zach. But let's keep it rolling a little bit too. Obviously, when it comes to your call-ups with the Sabres, you've had some pretty good opportunity to practice alongside players in your position group, like Rasmus Dahlin, Matthias Samuelsson, Owen Power, Bowen Byram, and obviously many more, especially even in Rochester as well. But what are some things you have learned from all of those guys up in Buffalo, both on and off the ice, or even from some guys like Adam Fox over with the New York Rangers?
Yeah, I mean, they're all great people. That's the one thing I've started to notice about being in this organization. Everybody's been unbelievably great to me, especially when I first signed here and stuff. I had a few guys reach out, text me, just say, hey, welcome, to the organization, things like that. But, being in New York for the last 4 years, I really got to watch Adam Fox, and that's a guy that I try to model my game after. And it's, it's fun to watch Adam Fox play and compare him to Rasmus Dahlin in a sense. I mean, two completely different players in a sense, as far as, the way they move on the ice, but they're both, I mean, it's fun to see the best players in the world and how different they are in a sense. And those two guys are, two of the top 5-10 defensemen in the NHL. So, I mean, but that whole team has been awesome to be around. The few times I've gotten called up, they've been great to me. I mean, there's a good mix of older vet guys that, take in some of the younger guys, but then the younger group there has been awesome. So practicing with those guys, it's fun to watch. Let's put it that way. I mean, especially when I'm called up and I get to experience it full hand. I mean, seeing a guy like Rasmus Dahlin play, that guy I never really watched him as much when I was with New York, and now really getting to watch him firsthand. I've gained a whole new sense of respect for him and the way he plays. I mean, I honestly think he's one of the most underrated defensemen in the NHL. I don't think he gets enough credit for, how much he plays. He plays every situation. He's, plays 26, 27 minutes a night. It's unbelievable. But, that whole group is, making a bunch of noise this year, and they've been playing great.
Hey, not to mention the fact that you guys are making plenty of noise yourself in the AHL North Division too. So nothing to slouch at with that all-star nod you got there too. So, hey, absolutely credit where credit is due there, Zach. To kind of go a little bit further on the Sabres and even comparing them to the Rangers. So obviously there's still a lot of love for someone like Chris Drury because he had his run with the Sabres back about 20 years ago. But still, comparing just two franchises like that, very storied in their own sense. Obviously, the Rangers being like the much older team, of course. But when you first heard something like that, obviously things didn't go the way you wanted it to with the Rangers, and then getting signed by the Buffalo Sabres back this past offseason. What were your thoughts as you were just in that transitional phase for what you were kind of going through at that point in time, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, no, it was something I never really experienced. I never really kind of expected to happen this soon, in a sense. But I've got nothing but respect, and I had a great time in New York. I loved everybody there. They were all great people. The whole staff was awesome. Obviously, things didn't work out, and sometimes that's just the way it goes. But signing with Buffalo, I really I saw a team that was hungry to win and hungry to be a contender in the NHL every year, and that's something that I want to be a winner. I want to be a guy that is relied upon when it comes to winning hockey games. So I didn't really expect too much when I was signing here. I just kind of saw what was best fit for me, in a sense. And when you're a free agent like that, you have teams calling and asking what you're thinking, this and that, and you're obviously your agent's dealing with a lot of the stuff. But I got nothing but respect for the Rangers, and I'm really happy to be here in Buffalo.
And I know we're happy to have you here, Zach. Here's another question from the chat. So, Zach, if you could kind of handicap this for us, as he's saying, as a player, is there any rhyme or reason why Matthias Samuelsson is playing out of his mind this year? Is it just him finding confidence in his game and being healthy that's unlocked his offense, or is it something else? Because he's also saying, obviously, we've all seen it with our own eyes. I know you have too. He's been an absolute stud out there this season. What are your takes on that?
Sammy's always been a great player. I mean, I've played against him growing up my whole life, and then was fortunate to play with him for a few spring or summer tournaments. And being a guy that's I don't even know how tall he is, 6'4", 6'5", that can move like he can. I mean, he's got all the tools to be an unbelievable NHL player, and I'm really happy for him that he's been fully healthy this year. It's been great to see. Obviously, you never want to see a guy get injured, and having the injury bug that he kind of has the last couple of years, I feel like it's I wouldn't say it's hurt his confidence in a sense, but it's tough to come back from injuries and kind of feel the same and feel like you can make a difference every night. But it's been awesome to see. He's been playing unbelievable hockey. He's another guy like Rasmus that they're difference makers. He's a guy that can it's not as, I'd say, flashy as Dolls is, but he's a really good hockey player, and his offensive ability's always been there, in my opinion. I mean, he's got a great shot. He's got good hands, got good vision. It's just, I think, injuries do affect guys. And, obviously, I wouldn't say the normal person would really sense it. Oh, he's hurt. He's going to come back. He's going to be the same person. I mean, it affects us. I mean, it's the way it goes. Obviously, when you come back from injury, sometimes that injury is not feeling great. So you're kind of, playing a little bit on the edge. You're not really sure, about going into a battle or doing certain situations. So, it's been great to see Sammy have the year he's having.
Yeah, we could not agree more on that. I know us included, we've been critical of just his play in the past, but obviously, again, we don't see what goes on behind the scenes as far as how those injuries do impact him or folks like yourself. So again, it's great to see that rebound that he's had this year, and just not only him playing with confidence, and he's playing well, and just any player for that matter. Again, there's just so much more that goes beyond what we see on the ice, even just from the TV, because you just miss so much that way. Zach, I would be remiss if I didn't bring this up, obviously, because the Sabres, as an organization, have been making some noise in the last 24 to 36 hours as far as the trade deadline goes. Obviously, a few hours ago, there was some big noise with Colton Parayko on St. Louis being potentially heading over here, allegedly. But, again, if that trade were to go through, of course, for Colton Parayko on St. Louis, making his way here, obviously he would need to waive his no-move clause on here, of course. What would be your thoughts on getting someone like him into the organization? I mean, what are your thoughts on him as a player, and how could the Sabres organization and the D-Corps itself as a whole benefit from someone like him?
Yeah, I mean, he's an Olympian. He's an unbelievable player. I mean, he's another guy like Sammy that's 6'6", however big he is, that can move unbelievably well. He is a shutdown defenseman, but also provides a good amount of offense. And I think that would be a big get for the Sabres. But now, the D-Corps up there has been playing unbelievably well, especially with guys being hurt left and right. You need guys to step up. I mean, guys like Metz, Bryce, and Bo Owen. Those guys have been great. I mean, like, guys that wouldn't necessarily, I don't know, they'd be getting minutes still, but you know what I mean. They've been
Sure.
into bigger roles this year, and they've been playing great. I mean, that whole decor has been fun to watch. It's been a great year for them. Obviously, getting a guy like Colton Parayko, it's tough to say no to that, and he's one of the best shutdown defensemen in the league, in my opinion. He's a big body, has a great stick. I mean, he's going to be definitely a big difference maker for sure. I mean, to an already stacked decor, in my opinion.
Yeah, could not agree more. I mean, obviously, like, again, behind the scenes stuff, you don't know what's going on there, because waiving a no movement clause is a big deal, especially if he's somebody who has roots in St. Louis, especially with a family that he may have. But still, again, seeing somebody like him lace it up and put on the crest for the Sabres would be awesome to see. Obviously, making a big playoff push and making a statement trade would be huge as well for the organization. Let's see another one coming in from the chat here. It's another friend of the show, Michael Phillips. So kind of rehashing what we were talking about before. He's asking, Zach, how did growing up in Richmond, where we don't really have a strong hockey presence as we used to, impact you and your career specifically?
Yeah, it was different, I'd say, than most hockey players growing up, especially in like the New England, Michigan, Minnesota area. We had to do a lot of travel, and I was very fortunate that my dad was my coach growing up. He was, he's one of the smartest hockey minds, in my opinion. He knows the game. He's been around the game, and he always, from a young age, was trying to get me to be a pro hockey player, in a sense of the mindset. There's a lot of things that you have to do, a lot of sacrifices you have to make, and it definitely, when you're younger, you're always questioning things. You're always, in the back of your mind, is this something I want to do? But, I loved my time in Richmond. I loved, the 8-hour car trips with my dad, my buddies, a couple other dads. Like, it was some of the best times of my life, just getting to, play hockey every weekend. And, not gonna lie, I wasn't a big school guy growing up, so missing school was also something that I did love to do. But it was a ton of fun. I mean, I wouldn't say it impacted my hockey career negatively at all. I mean, I would say it was only a positive experience for me, and getting to, experience different situations than other people would say.
For sure. I mean, again, I can't even imagine just the differences like you would face, just like your day-to-day stuff. I know school is probably quite a bit different for you, as opposed to like your average everyday person going through public school or things of that nature. So again, your life experiences, I mean, your life experiences. And again, it's just really cool to just kind of link the regions that we've done here with both Richmond and Western New York, just being like hockey fans near and far. But just as kind of putting a bow on this, Zach, obviously, we want to respect your time as well, because you have a good road trip to prepare for against Laval, like we said earlier. So it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for your time. Best of luck to you the rest of this season as well.
Chris, I really appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, again, wishing nothing but the best. Hope to see you with a Sabres sweater on very, very soon in the near future as well. To everybody else out in the ether, just watching us, all 800 live viewers, appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for giving some love to Zach here, both in Western New York, in the Richmond area, or even to our family in Texas, where we made sure to say hello to them as well. But again, we got a lot of things going on next week in the world of the NHL, NFL, so much more. We'll be back on regularly again next week. So thanks always for tuning in, folks. And as always, let's go Buffalo.